Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. It's another year already and we are back to doing taxes. I've got my TurboTax red on and we are gonna get all of this done so you can check it off your list and be a little more stress-free. If you've never been here before, thank you for clicking through. I'm gonna try to make this process as painless as possible. Today's video is going to be walking you through the 2024, so you're filing for the 2024 year in 2025, and it's going to be TurboTax's online version. Granted, there's a couple of different ways you can do this. You can actually get their desktop software. It comes on like a little CD and everything. You can do it that way if you want as well. They sell it at big retailers. That is going to be similar to this, but it's not going to be exactly the same because you won't be logging on online. So if you're a little bit confused, that's what I'm going through today, the online version of TurboTax for the year 2024, which we are filing in 2025. Big dates to remember in 2025. Tax day, this is when your taxes are due. Obviously, you can file an extension, all that other good stuff. But the first date for personal taxes is April 15th, and that falls on a Tuesday this year. Mark your calendar, make sure you get your stuff done by that date, or you file your extension by that date. The other date to know for personal taxes is also when you can start online filing. Obviously, this tax software is set up for TurboTax already. You can go and purchase it, but you can't actually file anything online, meaning sending the file online to the IRS to be reviewed and approved and paid out, or for your payment to go through, until the end of January. And they haven't released the date yet, but TurboTax is thinking it's going to be Monday, the 27th of January. Generally, it's by the end of January. That's just how the IRS does it. This year, TurboTax is pegging that date for January 27th. Today's tutorial is going to walk you through a very simple filing. It's not going to apply to everyone. Make sure that whatever you're doing, even while you're watching me, you are doing it to match your situation. Don't just copy what I'm doing. If you need help for specific topics within your own filing that you don't find in this video, you can search and scour my channel. I have tons of videos on different situations, even different types of programs if you don't, or if you decide that TurboTax is not the one that you want to go with. I'd love for you to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more from me about taxes, finances, and other things, and just to remind yourself to come back and hang out with me next year. While you're at it, I'd love for you to share this video with any friends, family, strangers, anyone on the struggle bus that is taxes. As always, leave your comments, questions down below. I will try to get to them as soon as I can. Obviously, I've said this before, YouTube kind of likes to bury comments sometimes, so I'll reply to you once and then it'll just disappear. So the best way to reach me is my email. I will drop that down below for you. Whew, okay, enough talk. Let's get into this tutorial. Grab something to sip, some patience, and let's go. I'm all logged in. If you are new to this and you haven't created an account yet, the first thing you need to go and do is create an account. You will need an email to set that up. And so if you have an account like me and you're coming back, you're going to log in. And actually right now, because TurboTax is trying to be super proactive, it took me straight to this screen. I want to say if you log in during the year, it takes you to the main screen and it's like, what do you want to do? But because it's tax season, TurboTax is like, okay, we know why you're here. And it's taking me straight into this screen. So literally I logged in and it took me straight to this screen. And this screen is just prepping my account to pull up what I need to have in front of me so that I can file for this year. Whenever you get to the screen, whether you're creating an account and then you get here, or you're logging in, it's pulling you here, or you're getting to the main screen and then you have to click in to file for 2024 in 2025. This is what you're going to get to. Click through whatever applies to you. I'm going to make it very simple. So here's what we think applies. Based off of my old tax filings, they're saying, you know, I put down that I have kids and I paid rent. I'm going to say both things. For whatever it is for you, it's going to pop up differently. Tell us if anything else applies. I want to maximize deductions and credits. I donated to charity. I have a job, freelance, self-employed, all that other stuff. I own a home, rental property, crypto. Again, do what applies to you because it's super simple. I'm just going to say, hey, I want to maximize this. I have a W-2, and then that's it. So are you comfortable on your own? Do you want help when you need it, or do you prefer to hand it off to somebody else? Obviously, if you want to hand it off to someone else, you're going to get upgraded to TurboTax's premium package, which costs more. I think if you are a risk taker, or at least obviously you're on here online trying to do it on your own, I would say comfortable on my own. They've got this help bar up here that honestly does a great job. And if it doesn't for you, you can search things as well as reach out to me. If you're feeling comfortable and feeling like you have enough time to file before that April 15th date, I would do this. Take your time, work through all of it, make sure everything's correct. But we're going to start with this. If you've been here before, you would also know that TurboTax loves advertising their own things. So we're going to start for free. Obviously, they're saying, like I said, they're going to upgrade you. Assisted is a little bit more, full service is a little bit more. We're going to start for free because we're feeling confident this year. I'm pushing my confidence towards you. You got this. How did you do your taxes last year? If you didn't file, click that. Somebody filed for me. If you had somebody, whether it was H&R Block, someone through TurboTax or CPA, however, or I filed my own taxes, I'm going to say I filed my own taxes. Depending on what you click, you're going to be given the option to upload a copy of your past tax return. If you have an account with TurboTax, then they're going to allow you to pull that data. It just kind of helps them start you in the right place. If you have to upload your own copy, you can upload like a PDF copy, and they're going to try to pull as much information from that PDF to put into your taxes so that you have less work to do through their system. Sometimes you have to manually input everything and it takes longer. So it really just depends on what your situation is. Hopefully, it's not too long, but we're to the screen. It says, you've got this. Based on our estimates, you can finish your taxes in 54 minutes. Because TurboTax is the way it is, I'm going to be blocking off a couple things here, so obviously you don't see my information. Some of it has to be true just for TurboTax to process my filing. Don't worry about me, birth date, my address and everything. It's all going to be fake, so feel free to try to stalk me, but you're going to end up at someone else's place. Thank you for your concern, everyone else. So this is what the screen looks like when you have actually had an account before and you're coming back to do this current year. It's going to say, hey, this is what you put in last year. Is it all still true? And you can just go ahead and click review to go through your social security number, your birthday, occupation, all that good stuff. If you're new, it's going to start with, hey, let's get to know you. And it'll ask you for that information. So you just want to go through, click through all of their slides and make sure that whatever information you're putting in is correct. It matches your social security card, it matches your birth certificate and your W-2s and everything like that. Because I've already done this before, my information's in there, nothing has changed. So I'm just going to go ahead and click continue. Again, TurboTax is going to try to prompt you to always spend the most money as you possibly can. They're a business like anybody else. If you want to upgrade to max, you can. It's going to tell you, hey, it's an extra $50 there. If you don't, you can just click don't add max. I'm going to click don't add max. It's up to you what you want to do. They're just saying, hey, if you mess up, they're going to take care of you. Oh, that's a lot of pop-ups. I'm just going to say don't add max. Let's talk about your income. Moving into those W-2s that you got, or a W-2 if you only have one. In this scenario, just for this tutorial, I'm a single person with one dependent, just because I want to show you how all that works. And they're going to start going into your income. And so, did you withdraw money from your retirement plan? If you did, you're going to click yes, and it's going to keep asking you questions so that you can get all of your information in there correctly. If you did, you would get a Form 1099 DIV or dividend, and they're going to just ask you, what is in this box? What is in this box? That's why you have to have that 1099 DIV in front of you to be able to put in all that information correctly. If you say yes, then you'll just enter it and then you'll move to the next screen. If you say no, I'm going to say no. I don't know too many people who withdraw from this on a regular basis, so I'm going to say no. So TurboTax was actually being kind of wonky and it wouldn't let me click no and then go back. But for those of you that did not take from your retirement income, you're going to get back to this screen, which just summarizes your wages and income. Again, because I'm a returning user, it's going to show me everything from last year and say, hey, are you still doing this? If you are, you need to update what you put in last year. You can add more if you need to. If not, what's still correct. And so I'm going to jump right into W-2s. We'll start in your W-2. We want to work on it. I don't have one. Skip it for now. At this point in time, I'm trying to get my taxes done, so I'm going to say let's work on it. This is going to be a 9-digit number. I'm just going to pick one. And if your apparently Magellan Systems is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. I just put one in there. You have to make sure that this matches your employer ID on your W-2. So look at that one and make sure that it matches. User ID. I can actually using Magellan, I can actually log in and pull it directly. Obviously, I don't actually work for them, so I'm going to change how I enter my form. If you work for Magellan or whoever you work for and it pops up that you're able to automatically enter it, great, put in your information and it'll pull it automatically for you. You're going to just save time and be able to pull it directly from their system. Because I'm not a real employee and I just use that number, I'm going to say change how I enter my form. So you can import it instantly, upload it from your computer if you have a copy, or you can snap a photo with your phone. I'm gonna type it in myself because, again, I don't work for them, and because maybe you're OCD, slightly like me, and you just want to make sure everything is completely the way it's supposed to be. So box B, that's the number I put in. Make sure that everything matches your employer. The address, the city, state, zip code, the name, your information in there as well. It's all going to be on your W-2. If it matches, you're going to say looks good. If it doesn't, make some changes. If you automatically uploaded yours or synced it with their account, it's going to automatically pull these things. You might not even have to put anything in. If anything, you'll just double check it like the last screen. Because I said I'm going to type it in myself, I'm going to input a couple things in here. Again, these are just random numbers that'll help with my filing, kind of moving us along. Make sure that whatever is on yours matches the W-2 in front of you that you got from your workplace. I apologize. My husband has this mechanical keyboard, which is great for gaming, but it just like makes me sound like a chicken pecker, so I'm sorry. The most common questions I get with the W-2s are these box 12 questions, and really all it is if you have money going somewhere else for health coverage, for sick pay, for medical savings accounts, 401ks, Roth for contribution plans, that's where this is going to be. So you could honestly have a lot or nothing at all, and this really depends on you. You can add as many as you need, but make sure it matches the W-2. That is the biggest thing. Let's say you have a box 12D, you put money into a 401k, and let's say you put, $5,000 during the year. But you also, let's see, you also had, where is it? I'm not seeing it. Contributed to a medical savings account, and you contributed $1,000. You can honestly keep adding as many as you need to. That will bring you to match your W-2. Whatever you did, make sure you put it in there. If you have this, stick it in there. It's not completely normal to have it on there. It's not bad. It's just not common, so I'm not going to add it in there. State taxes, whatever state you're in, put it in. I am from the great state of Minnesota, where we are currently experiencing -4 degrees. Employer state ID number for Minnesota, this is going to be 7 digits, so I'm just going to put in 7 digits. Make sure it matches yours again, and my wages were, I believe I put in $40,000. Income tax, let's say I paid $1,000. Local taxes, if you've got that filled out, put it in. If you don't, leave it blank. Let's review the amounts. Double check. This is where you double check your work. It's like 5th grade again. Review 5 through 7. Yep. Looks good. It looks like you're due a refund from your employer this year based on what you entered. Basically, what this is saying is regarding the information I put in, I overpaid in taxes and my employer will actually give me a refund. Let's check for uncommon situations. If any of these applies to you, click them. And then if I were to click it and then I clicked continue, it would then bring me to a screen that helps me go through this specific section, gather that information, and see how it applies to my taxes. If it's not, obviously they say it's uncommon, then just hit continue and it won't, and you'll skip to the next screen. But literally everything that you click through is just going to keep adding little tabs for you to go through and make sure that your information is in there correctly. I'm going to hit continue because it's not completely normal to have those things. A tax break from your medical savings account may be coming your way. If you need to add another W-2, let's say you worked somewhere else, you can go ahead and do that. It's going to run you through the same process that it did for the first one until that first one is complete and correct. And then when you're all done with however many W-2s that you have, you can click done. I took off the 1099K and I'm going to show you how to add anything else that you might need to. Just because the 1099K might not be there for everybody, I'm going to go ahead and just show you how you can add other forms to your filing as you need to. You're going to hit add more income. And obviously they're all here listed. TurboTax is really good about showing you, hey, this is not common, but maybe you have it. So self-employment, unemployment, other common income, investment, savings, retirement plans, all of these other things. So let's say you click it, let's say you were self-employed, you could revisit that. If you have other sources of income, 1099 NEC, miscellaneous K, if you have that, you're just going to hit start and it'll walk you through everything. And honestly, it ends up looking a lot like the W-2 where it says, hey, this box, what does it say on your form? You'll look at the form you got from that company, you'll put it in, and you'll save, and that's it. I know that a lot of people want to be walked through each one of these, but it ends up really being the same where it's asking you questions so that it can see how your form that you got from that company looks. And as long as you're walking through each of the steps, putting in the right information, you're going to be just fine. Let's say you're looking at all these and you can't find what you need to. I love this feature about TurboTax, but you can always use the search bar to help you get to a certain point or to ask questions about things you don't understand. So let's just pop this baby open. And it has a bunch of these things. Let's put 1099K. You can literally look to see like, oh, I got this form in the mail. What is it for? Why did I get it? Or you can literally jump to 1099K and it's going to say, hey, did you get one? I tell everyone on here over and over again that, hey, TurboTax is so great. The search tool is heaven. It is the savior of filing taxes. And so if you have a question and you're like, I have this form, I couldn't find it in that long list here, what do I do? Type that in, jump to it. And sometimes that one word doesn't always work, but TurboTax is pretty good about linking it to the form. If you have questions, you can't find it, let me know. You can search for it here as well. But the search option also allows you to kind of find the background information about how it's going to affect your taxes and then allows you to jump to it. I'm going to leave everything as is. Again, do what works for you. Do what you need to do to get your taxes done. I'm going to say done with income. I made nothing else. Becca, your refund is looking so good. Refund so far, $1,181. If you're like, okay, how did I get there? It's going to explain it to you. So you can go through that again. Amazing. Helpful, not helpful. Hit continue. So I'm feeling pretty good, guys. I've got my fake almost $1,200 refund here, and TurboTax is advertising again to upgrade, or continue. We're going to continue because we don't need these people. We're good to go, guys. I believe in you. No shade if you clicked to upgrade. No shade at all. Did you own or control a foreign bank account, trust, or financial asset? I'm going to say no. If you did, again, if you say yes, it'll move you to get that information from you so they can put it into your taxes and see how it affects you. I'm going to say no. Disaster distribution during these years, I'm going to say no. Digital assets, sold, received, rewarded, or rewarded, awarded, exchanged, all that good stuff. If you're confused, you're like, I don't know if that happened. Well, TurboTax, helpful search assistant over here. The IRS requires taxpayers to report any and all transactions involving any type of digital assets. So NFTs, virtual currency, Bitcoin, stable coins, all that stuff. If you're still like, I have no idea, you probably didn't. Usually the people who are involved in these things, they know. So I'm going to say no, I didn't do any of that. Alrighty, I'm going to exit out of this because I don't like pop-ups. They give me anxiety. Time to find all those tax breaks. We're at the point where we've entered our income. We want to see how our situation, our personal situation, is going to cut us a break from having to pay taxes. We want to maximize your refunds with deductions. Most people go with the standard deduction. It's usually the best for everybody, but situations can differ. If you want them to help you decide, you can click through this and they're going to tell you, hey, the standard deduction is the best, or hey, you need to itemize your deductions, which is a longer process, but good for you if it's actually going to help you get more back or pay less. So I'm going to continue with standard. That's generally the standard. Other tax breaks that may apply to you. Did you make any other income tax payments in 2024 or apply a prior year refund to this year's taxes? Yes, no, I'll answer later. I'm going to say no, I didn't. Did anyone listed on your tax return have marketplace health insurance in 2024? If they did, you're going to have, the 1095A or B or C. If you have one of those forms, if you receive that from your health insurance marketplace, then you're going to want to say yes and fill out that information just as you would the earlier ones that we did. I'm going to say no, I don't. For this situation, it was just my child and me, and we didn't have any other marketplace insurance. We only had it from my workplace. I'm going to hit continue. All right, this is TurboTax thinking. And still thinking. I do want to say we're at 23 minutes of the 54 minutes that it projected. I'm kind of competitive, so I'm like, you know what? I'm not even like a third of the way. I'm either a lot slower than you thought or you lied. But, TurboTax, it's okay. You might have these tax breaks. Property, car, home. Do you have an energy efficient vehicle? Yes or no? Student loan interest, HSA contributions. Let's say that we did. We said medical savings account earlier. Retirement. Yes, we had that 401k. If you have other ones, they do say, do you have any of these as well? You can click whatever applies to you and then continue moving on. Let's see if you need to report a 1095A for your health insurance. Received or we'll get a form 1095A, had marketplace insurance. Earlier I said no. I'm going to keep, too many buttons. I'm going to keep saying no and hit continue. Let's say you said you had dependents, then it's going to take you through all of the dependent credits that you might be eligible for. If you put in anything else, again, the same thing. So I'm going to go back and just go through this. Did you pay for childcare? If I remember correctly, my fake child on this is too old for childcare, so I'm going to say no. If you did, you would just put in childcare and then you'd get a credit for it depending on your income. Expenses and scholarships, I can start this. Did you want to enter your higher education expenses? I'm going to say no. I'm done with all of my schooling. I didn't pay towards anything, so I don't have anything left. If you do, put that make sure you put that information in. MSA contributions, HSA. I did earlier in this filing say that I had a medical savings account. So if you did have one, like I said I did, then I'm going to say yes. I'm going to put in all this information, how much I used, what it was for, and anything else that's on your 1099 SA. I finished with that. I am now to the high deductible health plan. Obviously, they know I didn't get my coverage through the marketplace, so I got family coverage through my employer. I'm going to just say family. Did it lapse? I'm going to say no. It was completely there the whole year. And then how much did you contribute to an HSA? And you're going to look at your previous return and see what was on there. I'm going to say that I did not have any excess, meaning I didn't overpay or over contribute to my HSA, and then I didn't have any attributed to a spouse. Let's review the coverage you had in 2023. I had a family plan every single of the month of the year. Just happy clicking here. Any additional income under the last month rules. We determined you do not need to include any income under the last month rule. If you have that and you do know that you have it, then you need to include it. If you don't, move on. Alrighty, we're going to more tax breaks, Roth IRAs. Because I said I had a 401k, I have to go and put information in here. So let's say it's traditional, meaning it's before taxes are taken out. Roth is after taxes are taken out, or if you have none of the above, that's fine as well. I'm just going to put this in here. This is a very normal thing to have for a lot of people, so I'm going to say yes, I did make contributions. Is this a repayment for a distribution? Yes or no? I'm going to say no, it's a normal one. And then this is going to be how much you contributed. And keep in mind, this is how much you contributed outside of your employer. when you put in your W-2, they're already getting the amount that you contributed to your IRA. If you only contributed through your employer and nowhere else, just leave this as is and leave it at 0. Did you contribute in excess? I'm going to say no, I did not. IRA deduction summary, 0. Okay, great. Here are your tax breaks. If you're good to go, you can just hit continue. If you want to see all the tax breaks, again, it's the same thing. Everything is listed for you. You can search the forms. Make sure, let's say, if you have more medical, education, child tax care credits, any of those things, charitable donations, you contributed to anything like that, you're going to want to make sure you go through each and every one of these to match your situation. It's pretty self-explanatory, so I'm not going to pick random ones to walk through, but let's say, you gave stuff to Goodwill. You could visit that, or in my case, revisit that, and then list exactly how much you donated, and it'll give you a tax break for that, depending on your situation. I'm going to say no, that was all. Let's check this entry. TurboTax is just being careful. You're going to have to go through and revisit everything to make sure everything is correct. Did you contribute to Archer MSA with the high deductible plan for 2024? I'm going to say no. What type? It was family coverage, insurance before. Were you previously uninsured when the Archer MSA was established? I'm going to say no. I had insurance in place the prior year. This is just telling us information from our W-2. Let's check for work-related moving expenses. I moved for work. If you did, put all that in. If you didn't, click no. We increased your refund as much as possible. So we checked for all the deductions, credits, and more to get you the best outcome. The income you're taxed on was reduced by $5,000, meaning I qualified for credits to reduce the amount of taxes that I owed. The standard deduction lowered the income you're taxed on by 36%. So instead of being able to be taxed on all of my $40,000 income, I can only be taxed on $25,400 of it because of the standard deduction. Let's do a quick check for uncommon situations. Any of these apply to you? Did you have a live-in nanny or household employee? I'm going to say no. Do you want to apply a refund to next year's return? I'm going to say no. Again, do it for however and whatever applies to you. That's all we need. Let's keep going to wrap it up. If you want to see more, you can. If not, you can keep going. Accuracy is everything. Time for a quick review. Okay, we found 3 things that we think you should review. Personal information, your child's information, answers to review. Whatever you need to review, you go ahead and do it. I'm gonna go through all of this really quick and then head to the next screen. If you want to dive into the details and just figure out why your refund is this way, this will break down everything for you. What's changed since last year? Let's compare your breakdown from the previous year. If you are a returning user, I'm honestly not sure if they will do this in comparison to your refund from last year if you didn't file with TurboTax. I'm guessing that'd be a great feature, but I'm not completely sure if they'll do that if you came from somewhere else and you just input your information. But this is where they compare the 2 years. And then, do you want your refund early? TurboTax does offer a couple ways you can get your return early. I'm going to go through that to show you. But I don't know many people have done it. I skipped through the state review just because Minnesota is going to be specific to Minnesota residents. Yours is going to be specific to you. It's going to run through the same way it did for federal, asking you every little question to make sure that you get all of your deductions in, your income, any taxes that were taken out already, and any other elections that you might have had during the year. I'm going to hit continue to bring us to the review screen. So it's showing me the status of my returns. I'm going to be done with state. And then we're going to check the return to make sure we're there. And hey, we are on track. 41 out of 54 minutes. Thinking. Okay, so it found a couple things for me to review. I'm going to review those things and then get to the last screen for you guys. It's going to show me my tax summary, Minnesota state taxes due, federal refund. Obviously, so I'm getting money from the IRS back, but then I owe my state money. So it's a win-lose in the situation. But in general, I'm getting more money back overall. Hopefully you are too. And celebrating that we crushed it this year. We finished it in under the 54 minutes that they had estimated for us. I'm going to finish the return. And these are just TurboTax things. Can we use your information for better experience? And then all this other stuff. You have to review and sign these things. So it's going to say, hey, know all these things before you review and sign. I am just going to put my information here. In this one, I said I was single, so I'm not filing jointly. I signed on this date. Same thing for this. And then continue. Again, hey, maybe you should still pay us more money or not. This is showing you the last couple of steps. They're going to review your order. You're going to put in how you're going to pay for the services. Most people, unless it's super simple, even more simple than what I did in this tutorial, that's the only reason you're going to get a free TurboTax, filing. Most people are going to have to pay something. So you're going to review your order, put in the information so that you can pay for this service, and then you're going to file your returns and also be able to save a copy of that return. I'm going to jump through the next couple of screens so that you know exactly what everything looks like. Alrighty, so I actually had to go back and fix one thing for the dependent that I put down. They hadn't counted it before. And because I was missing a social security number, which I just stuck in there, it updated it. So because I got the child tax credit, meaning because I have a larger family with a smaller my income, I'm allowed a larger deduction. Therefore, my refund, I got both a refund in Minnesota and a federal refund. So it went from that $1,000 to the $5,000. And then owing money in Minnesota to $1,000. So that's just proof that you need to really put in your information correctly so that you get every single cent that you're due back. Or if you're paying money, that you're paying as little as needed, just the right amount instead of overpaying. We're to the screen where TurboTax is saying, hey, you owe us for deluxe. And then you also have to pay for the Minnesota state return. The total amount that I owe to TurboTax is $88. I can pay with my federal refund, meaning they're just going to pull it from my refund. So they're going to pull it from this $5,800. And I'll just see $88 less than that, or I could pay it up front with a credit card if I wanted to. Either way, you get to choose. You'll get a receipt. Make sure you save that receipt. I am a big believer in saving everything because I'm paranoid and OCD, but save everything for your records or print it off however, you want to keep track of it. I do want to say this is new this year, but they are tacking on a $40 processing fee when you pay with your refund. I don't know why they're doing that. It's just another way for TurboTax to make money, but do keep in mind if you can't either afford it or you don't want to pay it up front with a credit card or debit card, they're going to take not only the amount that you owe plus a processing fee. So really do keep that in mind if you are pinching pennies and you want to make sure that you're doing the lowest cost option. If you have it in your bank account to pay towards a refund ahead of time, I would do that rather than paying a $40 processing fee. I think it's a little ridiculous. I'm finger shunning TurboTax right now. Next up, your refund info. So there was that part in the return where you said you could get your money early or you could just wait for it. For those of you that want your money early, you can deposit it into a Credit Karma money checking account. Credit Karma paired up with TurboTax, and now you can have this checking account. Obviously, it's a whole checking banking account. If you want to do that, it's great. You get it up to 5 days early. There's a $0 fee, or you can have it 5 days early in your bank account for a $25 fee. Again, more fees. It's up to you. I'm just going to say no thanks. I changed my mind. I'm just going to get it on time like everybody else. That standard timing. I will just wait the extra 2 weeks to get it because I don't want to, pay these extra fees. Up to you. You can choose what works for you. Okay, this is your bank information. So you were just going to put your banking information in here so that TurboTax can actually directly deposit whatever refund you have. If you are getting a refund, you'll get to the screen. If you have to pay, you're going to be setting up a payment for whatever you owe to both the IRS and your state. And paying directly isn't the only option. If you want to, you can actually mail in a check and they'll give you directions on who to make that payable towards, where to send it. Again, if you're doing that, if you have to pay and you're sending a check, please, please, please make copies of your check. Write down the date, the time, where you dropped it off. Even take a selfie of yourself dropping it off. Like, I am so big on making sure that you keep receipts of everything. Like, receipts are everything, you guys. So make sure that you know exactly when you dropped it off. If they're like, oh, we didn't get this check, and then your check was cashed, make sure that everything, you have a timeline, a receipt for everything, you guys. I cannot be more adamant on this. It is the biggest thing I believe in when it comes to big things like TurboTax. Please, please, please make receipts, keep receipts, take photos, whatever you need to do to make sure that you are in a safe, secure spot in this situation. Alrighty, so I have set up the direct deposit and now I'm to the filing screen. You can e-file, meaning you're transmitting your return online, or you can print it off and file by mail. I know some people are like, why would I file by mail? E-filing's easier. Some people just like the hard copy, and also some people have to attach different proofs, and TurboTax will literally tell you, hey, you need to mail this in. In that case, you'd be filing by mail. I'm going to say e-file. This screen actually says that I need to confirm some more information before I e-file, and I'm actually going to stop us here because after this point, you just put in your some kind of government issued ID information. Then you're going to sign the taxes like you saw me do earlier, where I was saying this is my full name, here's today's date. It's going to give you the option to download a copy of your taxes, which I highly recommend that you do. Whether you download and print it off, you just print it, you download and save it to an online drive, whatever you do, keep a copy for yourself. You are able to come back into TurboTax and download it later, but again, I'm OCD, I'm a little paranoid. I would download a copy as soon as possible, print it off for yourself, and then you will finally transmit or e-file your return. Once you get to that point, it'll say, congrats, you have filed. We will keep you updated on the rest. And when that happens and TurboTax has transmitted your return, the IRS is accepting returns, TurboTax will keep you updated on your return status. I will say that they do have slightly delayed updates for you if you really want to keep track of your return. I'll leave a link down below on how to track your return using the IRS website. And then every state has their own tracking system, and you'd have to look at that separately. But again, I hope you guys got a little bit of help from this, that it's pretty straightforward for you, and that it's a great tax season. I know tax season, it's a stressful time for everybody. Not one person wants to get it wrong. Nobody wants to be in jail and wear orange for the rest of their life. So please send me your questions, reach out to the TurboTax help, look in the search bar, take your time, start early, and get everything done by the deadlines. If you need more information on extensions and all this other stuff, like I said, scour my channel for more help, reach out via email, and I really do hope that this is the best tax season for you. For those of you who came back this year and who have seen me in years prior, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate you all so much. One of the number one comments is like to slow it down. Hopefully it was slow enough. If it wasn't, watch it again and use YouTube's little, slow down feature. But I appreciate you all so much. You guys are my online YouTube family, and I love you all. Best of luck. You can do it. I will talk to you guys and see you in my next video.